What you are about to see is easily my most valuable video yet. In this video, not only am I explaining exactly how I got from $0 to $250,000 per month in under 18 months, that is $250,000 as a teenager, but I am also explaining everything in between on how I've done it and everything that I've dealt with in my entire journey. This video gives real life examples of certain creators, exactly the systems that I use, and does not gatekeep anything. I really don't know if I'm going to keep this video on my channel or not, just because I want to give the people who will actually dedicate themselves to watching the entire thing the real value and information that's inside. This video does so much more than just explain OFM, but also offers a new perspective of how to look at this industry and the exact perspective that I've had to train myself on for the last couple of months to generate the money I have. This business model is not a get rich quick scheme by any means, but if you do want to make money online, you're serious, you're dedicated, and you're hardworking, I can almost guarantee that if you put forth your foot into this business model, you will become profitable. And I also quickly want to say that this video is off of my structures, my systems, my organizations. This is how I run OFM. I'm not speaking on behalf of everybody else in the industry, but basis that I've generated hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for these creators, I will say I have some authority to speak on it. So without any more wait or delay, let's get right into the actual breakdown. All right, so this is my entire strategy of how I've gone from zero, being a broke teenager, to over $100,000 a month in under 18 months. Now, this video is going to be for my serious agency owners who actually want to make a difference in their system, in their agency, and get out of the rat race that YouTube puts you in. So I'm making this video really just to see who are the committed individuals who really want to change and grow their agency. In this video, like I said, I'm going to be breaking down every structure, every system, and how I go step by step to ensure growth in all of my creators. So as you can see, I went from a absolutely broke teen. This was probably about right when I was starting my agency or right before I got into OFM. I was partying, I was addicted, I wasn't really focused on my goals. And I want to say now that if you are not, this business model isn't for you. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. This is something that you do need time and commitment towards. So if you're still in the position of me, I recommend you change. Trust me, this life is so much better, because under 18 months, I went from that to having the freedom of choice, being able to shop and buy whatever I want, being able to drive what car I want, having the income and results to back me, even buying matching BMWs with my best friend / business partner, all whilst being a teenager. So if that life is something that you've been looking for, something that you've been committing yourself to and saying that you're going to achieve, I'm here to tell you and confirm that your dreams are very plausible. They are very, very realistic. I, for one, did not believe in myself a lot of the times. There was a lot of self-doubt, a lot of things that just went wrong, but after figuring out the right system, redeveloping my mindset, I'm here to tell you what actually works. So let's get right into it. Before I learned my system, I was making decent money. This was a little bit after I started OFM, signed my first client, lost her, and then signed another one. Starting from bare ground, I made around $1,000 a month back then. This is a screenshot from September of 2024. Now, couple months into the system, after learning and developing my skills, we're building with the system, my gross was around $25,000 to $30,000 all in total. This was my best performing creator. So really, I was doing well, I was making money, but I really wasn't able to afford and live the life that I've wanted to. And I'm sure a lot of you guys would consider this your stopping place or a point of success, but once you get here, I promise you, you will just only see the possibilities unfold in front of you. So now, 18 months later, we are doing a little over $130,000 a month. Some months better, some months worse. But as you can tell, I have totally changed my life from being a broke teenager, starting with nothing. When I started my agency, I just came off of a terrible spending loss. I spent over 20 grand in one summer, lost it all. I would go as even far enough to say that my bank account was in the negatives, or at least zero. But as you can tell, we've gone from a very, very low place to being able to live and do whatever I want in my life, aka what I like to call the freedom of choice. So let's get right into the system. I want to first also share my ideologies and where I was previously, just to really break it down for you guys. So this is what I considered good when I started, and a lot of you guys probably would agree. This mid-level 4 figures isn't terrible, but it's not where the road ends. Having $5,000 a month in a creator, you're going to be doing some semi-marketing. You've probably got a decent looking model, but this is only the start of how much money can actually be made. If you want to start making $5,000 days, continue watching. So over the next 18 months, I've went from that to now doing 150K monthly. And I'm here to explain to you why this false image that this industry has created is making it harder than it actually seems to be. This is a screenshot from July 29th to August 27th. The day of this recording is September 11th, but I planned this video a while ago. And this was one of our creators who did over $150,000 in 1 month. But what I mean by this false image of the industry and the YouTube scene is really just because people like to overcomplicate it. People like to make this seem like a more complicated process than it actually is. And the sole reason for that is to sell you courses, to provide fake value. Because once you get into these courses, all of these people are going to give you these strategies, these black hat market methods, all of it, right? I've bought some courses, but what you're going to see inside of them is that they all backtrack into the same system that I have, but their system is nowhere close to how efficient and profitable ours is at our agency. So how do we do this? I want to first break it down to its core. Let's break OFM down to the basics. Let's get rid of all the confusion really quickly. So the model lead gen phase 1, this is the first part that you're going to be focusing on, and honestly, in my opinion, the most important part. This is the simple process of signing clients to manage and scale earnings for them. You can do this through DM outreach, ads, marketplaces. There's a bunch of places for this. Moving into phase 2 of the marketing, this is where you'll use social media to get more eyes/views on your model. The different marketing methods are organic, gray hat, and black hat. Doing this on platforms like IG, X, TikTok, Snapchat ads. You get the point. Basically just doing organic marketing or black hat or gray hat to produce more views, more eyes on your models. Now, moving into phase 3 is once you have those eyes and views, you want to create the landing page for your client, aka her OF page. This is built to drive subs and fan interactions. So some things you can do on this is a GFE, a nudity wall, free page versus paid, just some small details about that. Moving on to phase 4, which is the chatting phase. This is where you'll hire low-wage online assistants to handle chatting to the fans driven to the page. Things to track in here are like chatting ratios, shift management, improvement analytics. And in my opinion, and I can back this up with over hundreds of thousands of dollars of results, this is the second most important part of the system, and I'm going to be getting into more later. But now, why does this seem so simple? Griffin, you broke it down. It seems very, very simple. There's this thing called friction, and this is all the shit that nobody talks about. This is the shit that nobody will tell you in order to actually let you succeed. I'm going to be very blunt with you. So phase 1 is your model lead gen. Seems simple enough, but during this, you're going to run into bad clients, models who don't want to sign. You're going to look into no response rate. You're going to have scams in marketplaces, unmotivated clients not to do content, etc., etc., etc. Unfortunately, there's a lot of issues, the small gray lines in between that a lot of people don't tell you about and show you how to fix, but I'm going to be explaining that later in the video, but just hold with me for a second. But let's say you get an A-tier model, right? Let's say you get lucky, or maybe you have a process and you signed an A-tier model. You're moving into phase 2 of the marketing. In this, you're going to run into strategy issues. You're going to run into speed of the client retention, in-app blockades, client characteristics and issues, and once again, etc., etc., etc. More problems, more issues, more things to worry about. But let's say you got that down and the phase 3 of the OF page is perfect. Still, in phase 4 of the chatting, you're going to look into hiring delays, inconsistency of work, bad training, assistants leaving, and unfortunately, once again, etc., etc. But I know you get the point, right? There's friction here, there's friction there, friction everywhere. So how do we make sure that we make money with this industry? There's a couple of things that go into ensuring growth. There's a difference between ensuring growth and having a system. My process that I pride myself on is a system that does ensure growth, because when people implement a system but it'll only work for XYZ and YZX, then it's not really a insurity or a guarantee, right? It's more of just a process. But with my system, from model acquisition with the right client roadmap, we've almost guaranteed or ensured our creators' growth. So that's why I'm going to be explaining to you why none of this matters. And if it seems like a miracle that people actually have 100K months, I get it. Like, I was in your same position. Trust me, I was basically convinced that everyone in this industry, when I was getting into it, was lying or there wasn't actually money in this. It was a very, very complicated thing for me to comprehend that you could make so much money with this industry. But let me tell you why it's not a miracle. Like I said, as somebody who thought the exact same as you and still managed to find a way, let me explain why all of those problems, anomalies, and friction don't matter and can be solved with the simple roadmap. So with that, we're going to be solving it with what I like to call, and what I've built out here, the creator growth engine. Now, this is going to be broken down into 4 parts of acquisition, marketing, OnlyFans, and scaling. So I'm going to take you through step 1 all the way to step 4 of your OFM process, and breaking down everything into as much depth and as much value as I possibly can. I've stuffed this with almost everything that I know about OFM, so if you're serious and you're committed to watching the rest of this video, I promise you will walk away knowing a insured system that has worked and generated hundreds and thousands of dollars of results. So it all starts with models and creators. There's a couple of ways that you can go about signing models, and I first want to also say that the importance of signing a model is massive. The importance that your first model brings into your agency cannot compare to anything else. There's a couple of ways to go about acquisition. You can do friends of friends, dating apps, model account outreach, agency outreach, and personal account outreach, and then lastly, model marketplaces. So I'm going to start up at the top and really explain these things just A through Z. So let's go into friends of friends. The way that this acquisition process works is the most basic and honestly where I would start if you are getting into OFM, and that's basically you right here. You are the broke agency owner who wants to start an OF, who wants to start managing clients, and you're asking if anybody knows any OF girls. So like I said, that's you. What I want you to do is ask multiple people. Even if you don't know an OF girl, ask Jake, ask Carter, and ask Sarah. Even if Sarah comes to a dead end, she's got nobody to manage, Carter may have an OF model. She may have a one-time connect. And even if Jake doesn't have an OF model that he knows immediately, tell him to go ask other people. So then he go ask Jim and Daniel. And actually, Jim ended up knowing an OF girl. Listen, I've known so many people who have just gone through the grapevine of asking people if they knew any girls wanting to start, already have, or needing management on OF. And I promise you, you probably know connect just through other people. Like I said, it starts with one person, funnels down to more, and eventually you will find your desired product. But another way to go about friends of friends that a lot of people don't talk about is just posting on your social media. Listen, I get it if you're embarrassed to post about OF. I was too at one point, but I want to make it very clear. You can hide people from your Snapchat story, hide people from your Instagram story. Literally anything that you can do to sign a creator is going to be the best way. And I honestly think that friends of friends and referrals from other models is the best way to go about signing your first model, because you immediately have trust within your agency, which is something that a lot of agencies just never get. And to have this built into your setup immediately is something very beneficial. So that's one way to go about outreach, is friends of friends. Now, the second way is dating apps. This is a little bit of a complicated process. I don't really want to go into it too much. It's not my preferred method, but you can go on these dating apps and basically message girls, message if they're interested in starting an OF or interested in management, anything like that. It's a kind of a gray space, so I'd be careful going about it, but this is a possibility. Now, model account outreach, agency account outreach, and personal account outreach. This is how you go about that. It all sums up into IG outreach. You're going to be doing all of this sort of outreach from accounts on IG, no matter what account you're on. So I have a couple examples. Now, of course, you want to sign a A-tier client. So I pulled up some clients or females who I think would be an A-tier girl for somebody starting, already have some followers, already established. And remember, you can sign girls who don't have an OF. We did $150,000, or actually that's a total lie. We did $88,000, on our first launch with a OF girl, but she never previously had an OF. We launched it for her, and the next month is the month that we did $150,000. So there's 3 ways to go about IG. Let's break them down really quickly. The model account outreach is going to look something like this. You're going to either do it off a current client, so a model that you already manage, or a fake model page. The way that you set that up, I've covered tons of videos on that, and I'm going to be getting into that a little bit later. Obviously, you want some following, you want some social proof on this page, so around 80K followers would be the line to shoot for. Verified if possible. If you're running a fake model account, probably isn't going to work the best, but having it verified will make your retention, your DM response rate, everything go up. Additionally to that is treat it like a normal convo. I cannot stress this enough to you guys. Listen, there's two ways. I do not want you sending messages like, hey girl, you're so pretty, short text back and forth, and then immediately asking, how is your management? And then let me send me your phone number to the management. All they do will leave you on scene for 10 hours plus. It's not going to work. Now, instead, what you need to do is build rapport. After rapport, minimum of like 1 to 2 days. You don't have to constantly talk, but just build rapport. This is something you're going to say. By the way, how's OF been earning for you? Girl's going to say, not as much as I like for sure, or good, bad, whatever it is. Asking, is your management good? They're going to respond, they're all right, they're great, whatever it is. And then say, if, for instance, whatever they say negatively, you can say something like, what? Let me send you Griffin's phone number. He's actually the best. Can't lie. Haha. Or he's chill. Or he has a lot of connects. Let me connect you with him. Send the phone number. Girl says, okay, thanks. Hopefully you get a text. That's kind of how you want to handle it. Now, personal account outreach looks a little bit different. This is where you're really leveraging your social status, you're leveraging your proof of concept, everything like that. So with this, you want to have 10K followers, a quality username showing your name, verified, of course. This is like almost a must if you're doing personal account outreach. And then be professional, but not somebody you're not. And what I mean by that is be confident. If you're not overly naturally confident, don't overstretch it. Be professional, be smart. But if you're really just a funny, chill guy, mix that in, show your personality. Models have gotten the same nervous guy on sales calls, telling them all about what their management does over and over and over again. But if you come on that call or voice message or DM and you're a little bit more relaxed, you're a little bit more chill, you seem like you know what you're doing, because when people are relaxed and calm and also at the same time confident, it shows that they know what they're talking about. So being that rather than some professional nerdy boss guy is going to let you sign and at least get along with these creators better. Now, lastly is agency account outreach. Probably the worst out of these three unless your page is very good. That's why the follower is very, very high for a minimum. You need a minimum of 100K followers. Proof of concept, so this is results, screenshots, model proof, everything like that. Verified, of course. Reels on your page tend to actually pull views. If you can get some reels on your page, reels of girls, reels of luxury, things like that, that's going to help out your retention a lot, and obviously your response rate as well. And then funnel to receiving numbers. So what I mean by that is in the DMs of the agency, you want to keep this part quick. You want to either funnel to an Instagram page of like your page or your like whoever the CEO of your agency is, or funnel to your number. Be like, hey, by the way, this is Griffin. I'm the CEO of this. Let me send you my number really quickly. We can start communicating on there rather than the agency account. Things like that, right? So that's how you break down IG account outreach. So some tips for you really quickly about IG outreach is when finding clients, use this thing right here. This is the suggested accounts button. What this allows you to do is pop up a line of accounts below their highlights. They'll pop up right here below their highlights, kind of like this, and it'll have a bunch of different accounts that you can go look and follow. From there, you can just scroll through them and they will all be like the girl that you are looking at right now. So find your ideal prospect, your A-tier client, and then from there, use the suggested accounts to go and find more models like her. Also, when messaging, have a plan. I cannot stress this enough. If you guys receive a message from your DM outreach and you can't easily pick up your phone, text, and send it back, that means you don't have a plan. That means you're nervous. That means you don't know how to respond. Every single message you send, you should have an idea or some sort of funnel that she's going to send back, and you have a response for that immediately. And the reason why I stretch this so much is because if you're already sending 50 DMs a day, but yet you're getting nervous when somebody replies, that just shows me that you're unprepared. So have a plan A through Z, and A is the first initial DM, Z being closing them on the sales call. Have a full plan of how this walkthrough is going to look. Also, never let the client think. Now, this is not what I mean when I say this. I don't mean go and talk 24/7. Don't let her think. Don't let her ask questions. I mean, never give her an open-ended statement. And what I mean by that is saying something or answering her question, but not following up with another question. You never want to make the client think and have to think to respond. Either questions, specific answers, or statements about what she said. Those are the only things that you should be doing. Now, lastly, just a precursor, be confident, be yourself, and I promise you, you'll be a lot more relaxed when sending DM outreach. Now, from there, if you want more detailed breakdowns on strategies, on certain ways I go about DMing, on very kind of just way more broken down videos. Obviously, I don't have the time to break down every little piece about DMing in this video, but I have countless numbers of how to sign and model acquisition on my channel. Go check them out. I really do recommend this one right here, the updated outreach DM scripts that actually work. Those work great. That's a great video for you to watch if you are interested in signing more clients for yourself. Now, additionally from here, let's move on to marketing. This is going to be Marketing Basics 101. I'm going to make this very simple, but also very in depth at the same time for marketing. There's a few things that I want to talk about with marketing first. You have organic traffic, paid ads, personal reach, gray hat, black hat, and then everything else in between. So these are the main traffic methods that you're going to be running. But let's first look at something. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 different methods of marketing. That is way too much. All right. Max, you need to be breaking this down into 1 to 2, maybe 3 if you have very lucrative capital, you have people on your team. But if you're doing gray hat and black hat and also paid ads and trying organic traffic, you're going to fall off. You're going to not be able to produce the amount of results as somebody who is focusing on one single traffic method and implementing something else, right? It's just the simple act of not being too sprung out too early. But let's break these down really quickly. So with organic traffic, you have IG, TikTok, Snapchat, Reddit, X, YouTube, all of those. Paid ads looks like OnlyFinder, Creator Hero, Traffic Junkie, IG ads, share for share, things like that. Personal reach is if you've signed a creator that already has an account or has followers from something else, you can use their own socials for reach. Gray hat is when you do a mix of organic / black, and that's going to look like dating apps, repurposing, follow and follow, Cupid AI, nude and flash reels, things like that. And then lastly, black hat. I do not do black hat. I don't have any black hat methods or strategies implemented in my agency. And so if that's something you're interested in, you're not going to find it on my channel. So I first want to break down my content depth chart. Every piece of content that you post with some changes in between has 3 layers. You have the surface, the detail, and the core growth. Now, what I mean by this, you can just take a look at this, you'll understand it. The surface is obviously the bio, link, the follower amount, the posting, the profile picture, everything that they first see on the page. The details are the performance analytics, the engagement, the captions, the posting frequency, things like that. And then the core growth is what's in the actual video. So that's, or post or picture, whatever it is. So facial expressions, background, energy, genuine look, camera, lighting. Why I break this down? Because a lot of you guys probably think it's self-explanatory, but a lot of you guys don't think like this at all. You guys think that content is just one item. My IG page is just one item. That's not it at all. When you can break down each and every layer to its own personalized section and master each part of this is when you will really see growth in your pages. Because if your surface is good, that's going to leave your details good. And if your details are good and you can get your core growth good, that is what makes winning content. That's what makes you go viral. So remember when thinking about content to look at it like this, a 3-layered piece of video that starts with the surface, ends with the actual content itself. Everything in between needs to be perfect. But do not let this industry overwhelm you. You do not need 1,000 IG accounts. A lot of you guys will take this and say, oh, this is only for one mother account, but I need 1,000 other slave accounts. Stop it. All right. I generated over $150,000 with only 2 Instagram accounts. I put 125K just because that was really our first numbers in the first month. But as you can see, we have 2 accounts, one at 22K followers, one at around 1,200, and generating that much income. So don't let this industry overwhelm you that you need this, that, and the other to make money. You can really dumb it down to simple processes and see good results. Now, from here, I want to get into content research. So how can I make my content exactly how it needs to be for the platform that I'm on? Now, this is a very broad breakdown of how to do content research. I learned this when I was doing marketing for managers of influencers out in LA. This is exactly what they taught me, so I'm going to be teaching you it now. What you want to do is find first, this is always the first step of any process, finding the lead competitors. Who is doing what you're doing and winning? That's what you're looking for. In your niche, if you can get it even more specific, that's great. But the essentialness of it is finding the people who are winning, doing what you're doing. Now, from here, you're going to look into 3 creators. Creator 1, Creator 2, Creator 3, right? I know it seems self-explanatory, but really do have 2 to 3 creators when doing this research, because that's going to allow you to get the most data to produce the best outcome out of your research. So what I want you to do with these creators is list of top performing video styles. So go through their content and find what usually pulls the most views. So you're going to be looking at their Instagram page, scrolling down, seeing what kind of average of views that they're at. And then from there, you're looking for outliers. So views that have a little bit over 5,000 more than their average, or 10,000 more than their average, a little bit more comments, or a little bit more likes than usual. Find those types of videos, store them in a database, and then learn from them. That's going to allow you to basically cheat your way into getting the best sort of content for your model, because you're just copying the winners. Now, once you have those common 1 to 3 styles that usually perform, you're going to pick 1 to 2 and recreate. The reason why you don't want to pick 3 is just the pure fact of confusion. With our clients and our models, we try and make sure that we share the ideologies and the views of content that we're going to be running for these girls with our models. So we'll get on calls with them, we'll explain and show what kind of videos we want her to create, and then with that, she'll share the idea, and it won't be too overwhelming because it's just going to be 1 to 2. And then from there, we can make sure that she produces the best amount of content. Now, for style selection, if you're having trouble styling your content, you have a certain type of video style that you're going for, but maybe you have too many, or your niches are too broad, this is how you delve down. Now, you're going to look at reels, and you're going to look at all your different styles, right? From there, you're going to just track the views. If you want to watch a video, I have a video titled Boosting IG Ads plus Accordion Method. That video goes into way more depth about styles and how to make them, and really dive down into what works versus what doesn't. But what you're going to want to do is take all of these styles and then track the views of them after 30 to 50 videos. So get all of your styles, see what usually works, and get the average number of views on each style, and then pick the top performers. It's very simple. I know it sounds simple, but a lot of you guys don't do this. And look at yourself now. I promise you, you're probably not doing this, but if you take the time to go back, look at what worked, what didn't, analyze it, and then come out with a different style, that's going to leave you with the best results. So speaking of reels, I want to go into my reel machine breakdown of kind of how your structure should be within your Instagram account. So there's a very clear breakdown of how Instagram reels should be structured, should be looked at, and this is it, I believe, right here. So your structure equals your niche plus your vertical types, that equals your brand. So example of this would be a fitness baddie plus skits and Snapchat equals your brand of the gym influencer. Now, what does this mean exactly? The niche is the common style of content on your page. Everybody knows what a niche is. It's pretty explanatory. Now, the vertical types are the video ideas that correlate with said niche and can be recreated and scaled. So these are the videos that you're taking, recreating over and over again, and winning, pulling views on your page. Structure, by the way, is just the understood operation of content types and posting details within your agency and the model. And the brand, the result of this is keeping consistent with niche along with posting a quality variety of content. Basically just allows a system to be put into place for marketing. Now, of course, there's details in between, so I want to give you some production tips. First, always use a ring light, clean background. I'm going to skim through these on the ones that I think most important, but obviously you can pause and read right here. Most important to these is always use a ring light. Show personality or uniqueness, not just skin. Comment bait / quote meme / trend steal. And I would actually recommend to post carousels 1 time a week. I wouldn't do 2 necessarily, but if you have a lot of content and your model is pretty active, you can do that. But to increase the IG save rate, post some carousel reels. Now, really quickly, let's talk about each platform. I just want to sit here and explain some things to you guys, some precursors, some common misconceptions. So let's talk about Instagram first. With Instagram, your whole idea needs to be quality, volume, and consistency. So with this is obviously with quality, you're going to lack volume. Obviously with volume, you might lack consistency. So we need to develop a system that'll intertwine quality, volume, and consistency into the page. That is what makes viral content. The way that we've done that is creating a shared view of content with you in that model. So not just giving her a content doc, not just letting her go off and create content, really explaining, hopping on calls, showcasing, screen sharing exactly what types of content she should be producing, to the point where if you just say, hey, I need 2 reels by tomorrow, she gets perfect banger videos because she already knows what kind of content she needs to be making, and you guys share the same ideology. So that's going to get quality out of the way. Now, where consistency comes into play is having a dedicated amount of styles or verticals that you're going to be using. After tracking and going back and forth with different styles, seeing what wins, that way you can just pick 1 to 2 for you and your model to stick with. That's why it's easy to create and recreate content over and over again, creating not only volume, but consistency. Now, really quickly about X, this kind of goes along with Threads. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, it's a little bit more not safe for work. You can integrate a little bit more with Black Hat, so things like that. But with X, it's pretty much just about quality, consistency, and also comment baiting on X. It's a very simple platform to get into, but it is not my strongest suit, so I'm not going to talk too much on it. But for Threads, Threads has 4 main post types. Obviously, like what I was saying earlier with consistency, volume, quality, all of that, that goes into all of these social medias, but I'm going to talk about specifics on these last 2. So for Threads, there's really 4 types of posts. You have picture posts, you have picture and video, you have picture in picture, and you have captions. I have a full video breakdown on Threads marketing. I believe it is titled, it's literally just plus infinite. I've gone over so many strategies within Threads. If you're interested in going to check that out, it's on my channel. Now, lastly is TikTok. TikTok is a volume and consistency game. If you are not consistent and have high volume on TikTok, you're not going to win. The winners on TikTok have at least 3 accounts, posting twice a day, really giving their all into volume and consistency. TikTok is a place that you can really get some quick growth on, and especially their lives are something that you should definitely be taking advantage of. Now, that's pretty much marketing all in all, the basics of it, the one-on-ones. I hope you enjoyed. For more depth, of course, go and check out all of my walkthroughs. Like I said, guys, I have tons and tons and tons of videos on my marketing strategies for not only IG, but Threads and any other platform like that. Now, moving on to the OnlyFans page. This is what we're going to be covering. I'm going to walk you through how to create and optimize an OF page. This is signing up and verifying and optimizing. This is wall posts and tips, bulk content, and chatting. So first thing is signing up and optimizing OF. This is a video from my consulting. It's a very simple, straightforward process, so I don't mind sharing it with all of you guys. It starts with signing up for OF. If the model is already active, skip this step, but you basically want to enter name, email, password, sign up, create the account, and you're good to go. From there, click the profile picture and navigate over to become a creator. Once again, if the model is already active, skip this step. Once you verified with their ID and linked a bank account, from there, you're going to set up the profile picture, bio, banner, names, and discount. For the bio, keep it realistic, keep it clean and simple. At the same time, while making the bio, remember that it is technically your advertisement to clicking subscribe. And for the names, make sure that they are readable and reflect model's brand. So my example of this that I left is if you have a goth girl, name it like @BunnySpits, something like that. If it's a basic model, honestly, I would go with first and last name. So as you can see, this was my video example on the walkthrough. From there, to optimize profile picture and banner, I would take advantage of third-party editing softwares to make the page pop. As you can see here, you see me putting a ring around the profile picture and the banner to get the best quality. Ring around the profile picture showing top, high quality image at the banner showing ass and figure. That's usually the ideology you want to keep between the two. Now, from there, your OF page is done. It looks clean, it's color matched, and it is a good page. Now, from there, we're going to be moving on to wall post and tips. So with the wall post, first you're going to select the niche and style of OF you're going to run. So is it going to be girlfriend experience? Is it going to be a feet page? Is it going to be just straight chatting? The most common, and in my opinion, the best, is the GFE experience. And we'll cover that in a little bit, but the GFE experience is basically just the online girlfriend experience where you're captivating on the parasocial relationship that pretty much every user on OF wants. Now, with this, the wall must have 0 nudity in it. I mean this so seriously. The only things that you can have is mirror posts, lingerie, and gym selfies. All of this is going to create a sense of realness for the girl, making the fans spend more. Now, I want to talk really quickly. A lot of you guys will sell a full nude, like video, 2-minute video for like $60, right? That's probably like the average price that you guys are selling it at. Now, I want to tell you something, and I'm not lying here. Like, believe me, don't believe me, I don't care. We sell covered boob pictures, as in like the model has her hand around there, at a minimum of $60 plus, right? If we sell a 2-minute video of our model fully nude, everything exposed, we are getting minimum $300 plus for that. And a lot of you guys, and even like the gurus online, talk about how crazy that is and that that's not realistic. I will show proof, if you guys need me to, of guys buying pictures of my model, pictures, not videos, for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, because you've really captivated on the GF experience. Now, when I say gym selfies, mirror posts, and lingerie, I mean this. Like, our model does not have just only lingerie pictures. She will have gym selfies, like, of just her in the gym. That is how the GFE experience is supposed to run. Now, from there, the captions should be really basic. I pulled a couple from our page. On her gym post, we did "wanna work things out," "dark in bed," "still up," and then "casual cute selfie," "talk to me," a little bit of CTA for the DMs. Now, what this does is basically reinforces the everyday girl vibe that comes from the images we did earlier, like I was talking about. So that's pretty much how your wall should activate. Now, from there, you're gonna worry about the vault content. The vault is very simple. So this is the vault. As you can see, very organized. What we're gonna cover is how to organize the vault, how to get content into the vault, and tips and hacks to make selling process more streamlined for your chatters. First off, organizing the vault. The vault should be broken into categories for organization. Some categories that we use as an agency are verification, sexting, voice notes, scripts, and other. So weird requests, whale content, model features, etc., etc. And yes, if you didn't already know, you can store voice notes in the vault, things like this, as you can see right here. Now, from there, some tips for organizing and selling on the actual OF page. First is stage the script in the sexting PPV content in the notes. Let me give you some examples. So if you're selling a black dress script, the script in the vault should look something like this. First, collect 1 to 3 pictures of outfit and dress, sets location, the setting, and verifies what she's doing, making it a realistic script. Then collect 2 to 3 pictures and 2 to 3 short videos of the model playing with top of dress, revealing lingerie, rolling dress down, etc., etc. Then collect 2 to 3 videos of photos of the same idea, but now the bottom half. And then after that, completely dressed off, just lingerie, posing, selfies, etc. And then from there, repeat steps 1 and 2, but now go into full nude. All depending on the scarcity of the model will dictate how much is shown. Now, add the pricing and steps. What you want to do for steps, and this is all going to be done in the notes of these videos, is in the first stage, you're going to have stage 1 free, stage 1 $10 plus, second stage $15 plus, third stage $30, fourth $40, and then fifth, on and on and on, so forth and so far. So this can get up all the way up to the $700 mark. We have some scripts even ranking up to $1,000, really just depending on the average fan spending. So from there, worrying about getting content into the vault. If you are new to OFM, you haven't got content into the vault yet, no judgment of course, but the way to do this is creating a separate account on OF and then make a free link to subscribe to the main profile, send all that content via messages to the profile, and this will automatically store the media in the vault. So as you can see in your vault, you're going to see a tab called messages, and all of your content is going to be inside of there. Now, our last point is chatting. So you've gone over the vault, we've gone over wall posts and tips, we've gone over signing up. Let's go over chatting really quickly. With the chatting, it's a very, not complicated, but a very important process to get right. And it can be complicated, and that's why I like breaking this down into 3 key simple points: hiring, organization, and growth. First, let me stress how important chatting is. This is top fan spending for one of our pages from the last 30 days. This isn't lifetime, this is just the last 30 days. As you can see, we have got 10 fans, minimum of $1,000, reaching up to $2,700. All in 30 days, we did $17,000 from only 10 fans. That alone should stress the importance of chatting. As you can see, chatting is important. So listen up. With this, let's go into hiring first. I've made full SOPs on hiring chatters before, but this is how the process goes. You want to find them from Telegram GCs / other agencies, screen them with a screening process, 2 calls, onboarding, and then onboard them and shift schedule. It's a very simple process. If you want to go watch videos on that, I have videos on my page. From there, you're looking into organization, which is everyone is kept in one hub. We keep them all in Discord, but you can do Slack, you can do Notion. There's a lot of different managing hubs that you could run. From there, they must report after every shift. Earnings, issues that they have, anything like that should be reported and send in an EOS report at the end of every shift. Inside of this hub, there also should be announcements, callouts, and checkups in the hub, keeping the workplace stable. And then lastly from here is growing this, making sure that your chatting consistently improves. And this is where a lot of people do lack. So listen up here. During the shift, each chatter is linked with a chat manager on call. I went over this in another video, but it's in a Discord VC. So literally looks like this, sound, whatever it is. One dude is completely live screen sharing, and we have our chat manager inside of the call, watching his screen share 24/7 when he's on his shift, right? So if anything is problematic, issues, or he's not in there, we know that he's not doing his shift, so then we can go and message him. But keeping this on call and very streamlined, that's what makes this chatting process very efficient. So from there, training and adjustments are completed immediately whenever needed, and if we need to fire, we always do so. Remember the saying, hire slow, fire fast, especially with chatting. And lastly, just some precursors, always have swap outs if necessary and track your numbers on your chatting page. So that's pretty much everything about OF on the OF side of things to funnel people in there. But of course, again, if you want more depth, go check out the smaller walkthroughs that I do on OF pages. Tons of videos for you to go check out over there. Now, let's talk about scaling. This is a very, very interesting part of this whole process. And probably if you guys are making $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 a month, this is the space that's going to get you the most growth. That's why I saved it for last, because if you're serious, I want to make sure that only the serious agency owners see this side. Now, scaling at its core is difficult. I'm going to just admit that now. Especially if you never have ran a business in the past, you really need to understand how pipelines work. The second you get into business talk and scaling, you need to break it down into pipelines, not so much the actual aspects of the business. And what I mean by this is the process of breaking down a business into what I need to run my business, what is the actual thing that makes my business money, and how can I make said money work for me and generate more without me spending more time. So that's going to look like, AKA for this business model, how to get more models, how to improve chatting, and how to delegate. And just a little precursor, how to reinvest profits. So that's exactly what we're going to cover. Now, for models, there are money makers. We want to make sure we have the most, the best, and very secure retention rate of all of our clients. So once you have actually signed and generated income for models, the acquisition process honestly does become so much easier. Here's how. You have now gotten 3 different aspects that were not previously available for you. Model referrals, model account outreach, and proof of concept. So model referrals is the simple act of asking the creator for friends, connections, people who want to get into the space, seeing if there's any more management to be done. Model account outreach is using your model's page that you created, you've grown, for outreach. This creates just a better equilibrium of you and sending to a model rather than a personal account sending to a model. Lastly is the proof of concept. You have now done the hard part, which 90% of agencies can't do. So use that to sign more models. Simply put, use your results, your knowledge, your network to go and sign more and more models. So once you have these models, you want to look into improving your chatting. Honestly, like I said earlier, we did so much money with chatting. I really do want to stress the importance of having a A-tier chatting system in place. Chatting is a very unique thing, and you have to understand and learn from analytic tracking how to constantly improve. You cannot be stagnant. You cannot just stay at one pace, because there is no such thing as staying in one place. Everything in this world is always growing. So if you're stagnant, that means that you are lowering or not gaining. So you're not actually staying in place. You're just staying stagnant. Now, my recommendations for how to fix this is 3 things. Create strict guidelines within Workspace for chatters, look into chatting agencies, or improve hiring and screening process. Let's talk about this one first. Creating strict guidelines within the Workspace for chatters is what I chose to implement. So this is daily reports, problem solving, a manager, etc. basically keeping the chatters more accountable, training them harder, but also at the same time creating an easier workspace to up the quality of work. Now, from there, if your chatting sucks, if you don't have time, if you're okay with giving up some profits to build a bigger empire, look into chatting agencies. Chatting agencies can provide agency owners with more time, better chatting, and improved earnings overnight sometimes. So it's not a bad deal at all, but it does come with a percentage cut of your agency, standards looking 10 to 25%. Now, lastly is improving the hiring and screening process to ensure that you have the best chatters. This is also something that I implemented, and that's by one, doing all the chatting yourself. This is exactly how I do it. What we do is create live scenarios to mimic chats. So we will get on a Google Meet, and then within the Google Meet group chat or the text box, whatever it is, we will live text back and forth, replicating chats in the OF page, talking as if I was the fan and he was the model. And you can also add extras to your screening process like typing speed, Wi-Fi test, dedication of time, things like that. But of course, you want to make sure that you have the most time as possible on your hands. And that's what brings me into delegating, creating more time for yourself to then grow the business. Because as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, our whole goal is to create an empire, create a business, but then find a way to step out and keep ourselves out of that business whilst having it running. Basically, we want to create a money-creating, self-driving car. Now, the way that we do this, I first want to say that delegating is highly misunderstood in business and especially in OFM, mainly just because there's so many people who have never owned a business before that are getting into OFM. Here's exactly how you should handle it. So, first, understand what is worth your time and what's not worth your time. Let me give you some examples. Creating marketing strategies with your model, yes, that's worth your time. Sitting on calls with chatters, no, that's not worth your time unless it's for hiring the chatters themselves, but answering questions and things like that is not worth your time. Creating captions and posting, not worth your time. Meeting with chatters once a week to improve, yes, worth your time if it's actually creating improvements. And also following and unfollowing accounts, no, not worth your time. Now that I'm giving you some examples, I'm sure you can relate back to things in your agency, but my recommendations overall are these three main things. You have a reel or content manager. And by the way, what I'm saying with all of this is people to hire to put into the place that you were previously running. Now, once you are making enough to pay a VA $300 to $400 a week, buy a content manager. These guys are going to handle the posting and captions, the stories, the revisions, the comments and DMs, basically a bunch of task work that is now off your plate. Additionally from that, honestly, my biggest recommendation is getting a chat manager. Once you're making enough to pay somebody $250 to $300 a week, handles everything within the chats really. Like overseeing chatters and calls, teaching and improving small issues, reminders for daily reports. A bunch of people being managed by one person that you're not paying a bunch is something that I'm going to say yes to all the time. Now, lastly is task work people. So this is people who kind of just spread out across your agency and isn't on one key point. So hire when needed and handles really anything. Handle any task that you deem worth not your time. So follow and follow, X retweets, etc., etc., etc. It goes on, right? Now, the last part of scaling that you need to look into is reinvesting. It's the simple but scary part of OFM and of business in general. After losing money, delegating money, and really making some bad investments in my past, I can understand that this can be a scary part, but honestly, it's simple. When reinvesting, you want to make sure you're putting the money into the right areas. So, what are the right areas? This is how I would break it down starting over from zero. This is exactly how I would look at it. First, more attention. Always more attention, more eyes, more views, more volume. You want more attention. Trust me, if you think people know you, they don't, right? So, OnlyFinder, IG ads, paid collabs, paid promo, everything like that can't do anything negative to your page besides get more views. From there, more clients. More clients mean more money. We already talked about this. So hiring outreach VAs to send DMs, handling booking calls, everything like that. And then lastly is automation. A lot of guys don't think about this, but automating things, as in reinvesting doesn't always have to be to mean make more money. Make more money is just a bonus of reinvesting. You also want to reinvest into your time. So delegating is another form of this. Putting money in place of your time will allow you to grow your agency, like I was saying earlier, from the outside. So that's pretty much it. That is what I would do if I was starting over. This is exactly the kind of methodology, the ideology that I go about when scaling these creators, starting from absolutely zero. If you are serious about OFM, and if you've watched this entire video, I can almost guarantee that you are, so I do genuinely want to talk to you for a second. If you actually want to take whatever you have right now, 1 to 2 models, 1K to 5K, even to 10K, and you want to take it to something bigger, something that I never thought of when I was a broke teen before and now living this life here. If you want to take it this far, and if you're serious about this, and I will not take anybody who is not, I have a video down in the description of this video explaining more in depth, more personally about my story from how I went to this in under 18 months. And I want you to watch it if you are serious. If you're looking for a little bit of a system, of a plan, of a step-by-step process of what you should follow and how you should follow it, go check that video out. It's the first link in the description. I break down all of my journey, my problems, my issues, my thought process of going through these 18 months scaling my agency online. So if you're serious and genuinely want to make this happen for yourself, I recommend go watching that video. So that has been the video. That is the full entire A through Z breakdown. I hope you enjoyed, and I appreciate you watching until the end. Now, if you're serious and you've watched this video and you're wondering what your next step should be, firstly, I want you to start. If you haven't already established your agency, start, grow, build something before looking for any next steps. But if you are established, 1 to 2 models, making 0 to 5K and even 10, 20K per month, and you're wanting to take it to the next level and you're serious, not saying that you have to be serious, but if you're genuinely wanting to see how far you can take your empire, I recommend go click the first link in the description. It'll take you to a YouTube video of mine where I'm breaking down literally my entire journey, issues, mistakes, mishaps on how I've scaled from 0 to 20, from 20 to 50, and from 50 to $250,000 per month. In that video, I give away a bunch of value and also give you an invite into my personal circle. So if you are somebody dedicated and serious, I recommend go clicking that link. But other than that, kudos to you for watching the entirety of this video, learning and receiving all of this great value. Other than that, like always, it's been Griffin, and peace out.